Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to ditch the outdated beliefs, release the blocks, and fully embrace your sovereignty so you can confidently expand to allow more love, joy, and aligned success in your life. I am Niajae, your conscious accountability partner, reminding you that abundance is your birthright. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? Where are you tuning in from? Are you listening on iHeartRadio? Are you listening on Apple Podcasts? Or are you listening on Spotify? Or are you watching us on YouTube or Facebook? I want to know. Go ahead and take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram. Tag my personal page, which is at Niajae, Niajae, and tag the podcast page, which is at Abundance Hack. And I will share it on both platforms so we can spread the love. Okay, in this episode, we are talking about conscious relating. If you didn't tune into my conscious relationships episode, it's episode number 48. I dive into what a conscious relationship is and the key components of a conscious relationship. But at the time, I actually wasn't in a relationship. And now that I'm in a conscious relationship, I have a lot more to say about it. So, the purpose of this podcast is to live an abundant life, and we all have relationships in our lives, and I want to see you have abundant relationships and have an abundance of love and connection, and that deep connection. I think these days we have a lot of surface, shallow, and superficial relationships, so I want to see you have an abundance of that soul-shaking, deep connection with the people in your life. So that's why I feel conscious relating is an important topic. And specifically in this episode, we're going to talk about non-spoken expectations, because I believe that non-spoken expectations is one thing that gets in the way of conscious relating. So let's dive in. Non-spoken expectations basically leads to resentment, and resentment is toxic. So what is a non-spoken expectation? This is you having a need. This is you having a desire. This is you having a preference and not communicating it to the person. So this honestly doesn't just have to be romantic relationships. This could be friendships. This could be business partnerships. This could be any type of relationship that you have in your life. This is you not communicating your needs, your desires, your values, and then being upset when they're not met, being upset when it's not done, and having some type of resentment towards the person for not meeting your needs. But the key is non-spoken expectations. So if you did not communicate with the person your needs, your desires, and your values, how do you expect them to know? So I think that there's a lot of layers to this. There's a lot of times where we're afraid to ask for what we truly want. And ask yourself, are you comfortable asking for what you want? Are you comfortable asking for what you need? Are you comfortable expressing your values or your truth to someone? So values vary from person to person. What I value, you may not value. What I find wrong or right, you may not find wrong or right. So when you are in any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship, especially if you're married, you want to communicate your needs. What is it that you need? What are your basic needs? And I think in relationships, you should be very clear on your basic needs. If your basic needs are not being met, there is a problem. So being able to communicate, these are my basic needs in a relationship, making sure that who you're in a relationship with understands that. And then you have your desires. So this is like, okay, this is the extra. This is the icing on the cake. This is the cherry on the top. You know, these are the extra things. But it's important that you communicate your desires, because most of the time, if someone cares about you, they want to meet your desires. They want to meet your needs. And so if you have a desire that may not be a desire for me, I need you to communicate so I know that this is important to you, because it's not important to me because it's not something that I need or I want, but because it's important to you, I want to do that. So this goes into the 5 love languages. And Actually, I did a podcast episode on that as well. So if you didn't check that out, definitely check it out. I think it is one of the most powerful books when it comes to relationships and communicating your specific needs to a person. So the 5 different love languages just talks about how we perceive love, how we perceive support. And if your love language is words of affirmation and my love language is acts of service, for example, and you're telling me like affirming things, but you're not doing things, I'm not perceiving your love because you're not speaking my language. So it's just like if you were speaking Chinese and I'm speaking English, I'm not understanding what you're saying, and you could be telling me some really good shit. But I'm not understanding because I don't speak Chinese. So it's really important to learn your love language, to learn your partner's love language, and make sure that you're speaking it. So that's a really good book. If you haven't read it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So being able to communicate your needs and your desires and finding out your partner's love language, and this goes for friends, this goes for family, this goes for business relationships as well. You want to be able to communicate with them in a way that they understand. If you were looking for a sign, here it is. This is your reminder to not settle, to know your worth, and to follow your bliss. This is a reminder to maintain alignment and show up in your fullest expression. Abundant and Aligned Society is an accountability program to remind you that you are a powerful being and you deserve to live the life you truly desire. Go to niajae.com/society to join in on the magic, because life is meant to be abundant. I've been studying a lot about emotional intelligence. So it's just that awareness of self, so self-awareness, and then that awareness of others. And when you really focus on being a good communicator and have that awareness of others, it changes the game. And here's the thing, like, with expectations, because I know that there's a saying, expect nothing and you'll never be disappointed. I believe in living intentionally. This is the kind of friendship I want. This is the kind of relationship I want. This is the kind of people I want in my life. And if you're not willing to do this, no negative feelings, but I don't want you in my life. And we have that right to not have people in our lives. You know, I've been told that I have high expectations and it's hard to be my friend. I've been told this before, but I'm just like, I want respect, I want honesty, and I want good vibes. And I mean, when I say good vibes, like if I have to worry if a person is a ambivalent friend and they're talking behind my back and they're not really wanting me to be successful, like if I feel like they're rolling their eyes when I have something good happen, bye. I don't want someone like that in my life, you know? Do I expect people to reach out to me and call me? Yes, I do, because I don't think that liking someone's posts online is friendship. You have complete strangers that you've never met before that like your stuff online. So to me, liking my posts on Facebook is not a form of support. And so if I have something big going on, do I want my friends to support me? Of course, you know, and if they say, oh, well, I liked your post, okay, and so did hundreds of other people that I've never met before. So really communicating that to people, and then they have the decision where if they're like, well, you want too much, I'm sorry. Okay, so we don't have to be friends. We both have the right to choose not to be in each other's lives. Unspoken expectations leads to resentment, and resentment, again, is toxic. So if I don't communicate with you like, hey, thank you very much for liking my post, but to me, this is not really an action of support. And the way that I would love for you to support me is to check on me after I've had a big thing, a program launch, or, you know, a show or something like that. I'm always doing something, so I know it's probably a lot of responsibility for my friends. But the purpose is, and I don't actually expect people to reach out to me every time I have something going on, but I'm just using it as an example Because if I don't actually communicate that to my friends, they don't know. But if I'm sitting here like, ugh, none of my friends checked on me, I'm in my feelings when I didn't even communicate that I would like them to check on me. So this is where that unspoken expectation comes in, where we are creating resentment ourselves because we're not actually communicating our needs, desires, and our values. So I hope this is making sense. Values is something that's also very important. And I had to do an exercise, like a journaling exercise where I wrote out all the things that I valued, and I had to pick like my top few values, because that is how you live your life, you know? And if you have never thought about that, I definitely encourage you to try that. Like, write out what's really important to you and pick your top 1 or 2 or 3. And when you know this is what's important to me and you can communicate that to the people in your life, now they know. Now they know. And everyone is different. That's the thing. There's some people that want to be checked on all the time. There's some people that are extroverts and they want to be around people and they want people to check on them and they want people to call them and all the things. And then you have people that want to be left alone. You have introverts that need their space and they need a moment to themselves. And you have to communicate where you stand in those situations so people know how to treat you, so people know how to love you, so people know how to support you. And if you don't communicate it and then people don't do it, you can't really get upset because you didn't communicate your needs. So I hope that makes sense. So conscious relating, to me, it is communicating your needs, your desires, and your values. And if you don't communicate it and someone doesn't do it, don't allow yourself to sit in resentment. Don't allow yourself to stew over it, because again, resentment is toxic and we don't want those emotions in our body. We don't want it. Because those emotions will turn into trapped emotions because we're suppressing them. The trapped emotions will turn into physical ailments, which will turn into disease. And we are living healthy, happy, abundant lives over here. All right, M&Ms, that's my message for today. So when you are communicating with the people in your lives, make sure they understand where you fall with your basic needs. Make sure they understand what it is you truly desire. Make sure they understand your values. And before you could communicate it, you have to know yourself. So making sure that you know what you need, you desire, and what you value. All right, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this quick episode. And again, don't forget to tag me on Instagram. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Tag me at Niajae, Niajae, and then tag at Abundance Hack so I can see where you are listening or watching. All right, guys, until next time, be decadent. Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.